Here comes a video I should have probably done many moons ago about living on Guam and some of the costs. And later in this video I'm going to interview an American expat who escaped the Philippines, came to Guam, settled, and he's going to share with you some of his costs and his ideas about living here on this island. So stick around. I've had several requests over the last few months to put together something about the cost of living in Guam, and in doing so, I've had to visit some stores that we don't ordinarily frequent. And here's why. When it comes to the cost of residing on the island of Guam, one must understand that life here is basically divided into two camps. One camp being the typical civilian islander living off the normal island economy, and the other camp consists of a lower cost of living by having either retired military privileges or veterans who have base shopping privileges. With the exception of housing, base shopping privileges can typically result in an average or between 30 and 40% overall reduction in shopping expenses. The island has two major military bases where military and veteran discounts can be enjoyed for items like gas, groceries, and consumer goods. Ourselves, well, we fall into that second camp, which makes it possible for us to live here comfortably. Nearly everything on Guam is imported, and that means costs are higher than on the U.S. mainland. Most of that blame goes to the Jones Act of 1920, which forbids all but U.S. shipping vessels to carry cargo into Guam's territory. It's not like the Philippines, Mexico, South America, or even the Caribbean, where the cost of living can be relatively low for a statesider. Non-military residents here can sometimes save money by purchasing items like electronics, pet supplies, and other personal items online. While many companies do ship to Guam, some don't. Some ship for free, and others, well, they don't, and that's just the way that goes. The costliest items on the island are gas, food, and utilities. For example, today's gas price is $4.40 per gallon, or $2.89 on the base. Grocery items are high here, but many say they're not quite as high as they are in Hawaii. We have found select produce to be significantly higher, but some things are reasonable. For example, strawberries are generally $7 to $8 per pint, and asparagus runs about $7.99 a pound. Imported Manila mangoes, or Carabao mangoes, they kill me, just over $10 per kilo. However, seafood and other poultry products here are very reasonably priced, and many say cheaper than in California. You can find some really good deals at local produce stands and fish markets. You can make friends with your neighbors outside the base, and you will be overflowing with mangoes and avocados during their respective seasons. Guam avocados are huge, creamy, and delicious. Mangoes can be eaten fresh, in salads, pickled, juiced, or frozen. Same with papayas. Eating local also means trying the dozens of bakeries in Guam. On Guam, it's vital to learn to eat like a local. There is a farm-to-table CSA, or Community-Supported Agricultural, subscription program here that includes a weekly box of all local produce. Some folks say that through this program, you can actually save a little money overall on retail prices, and much of the grown produce is organic. Anyone can sign up. I'll leave a link to that organization in the description box below. Anyone who might consider living here in Guam should know that the island is considered U.S. soil. Essentially, any American citizen in possession of a valid passport can move to Guam. As an American territory, it shares many similarities with the mainland that one might be accustomed to. Chief among them is the same currency, the United States dollar. If you are considering a retirement here, one of the many perks of being a senior citizen are the discounts you can enjoy. In Guam, senior citizens 55 and older can enjoy discounts at restaurants, usually 10%, around the island. Many retail businesses also offer 10% discounts to seniors and military ID card holders alike, such as the Home Depot. So if you're a senior citizen and a U.S. military veteran, retiring on Guam might be particularly enticing for you. Another bonus is that American government benefits like Medicare and Medicaid are honored in Guam to help you deal with your health concerns later in life. With dental care, though, you are on your own, unless you have some really good dental insurance. Many residents from the island make regular pilgrimages to Manila for their dental care or even some medical procedures like cataract surgery, mainly because the costs are much lower. The preferred mode of transit around Guam is via privately owned vehicle. This is because public transportation infrastructure is not as widely developed on the island when compared to many U.S. cities. To avail of any public transit here, you must consider choosing to live in a central area like Tumuning or Tumon. Otherwise, you will need your own transportation. Utilities here are considered high, but coming here from the Philippines, we personally think they are reasonable. Our electric costs for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 900 square foot condo are consistently between $100 and $125 per month, and that is with central aircon running 24/7 and all the appliances, including electric range and oven, which gets used a lot. We pay $1,300 per month for our condo, and that includes hot and cold running water, sewage, and trash collection. Our biggest expense, seemingly, is for 2 cell phones, a home phone, internet, and cable TV, costing us around $300 per month. But then we do splurge a little in this category. There are prepaid cell phone services available on the island, and a typical internet service runs about $80 per month. As compared to our typical monthly cost for electricity at our home in the province in the Philippines, which was always over $200 per month, we are definitely not complaining. In the province, we paid the price for comfort, whether we had service or not. In other words, what we paid for included brownouts. There's a lot of information online about Guam, but some of the cost of living stuff should be considered with some level of scrutiny, as it always seems like some things are on the high side. The most accurate site I have found to date is the Numbeo cost of living site, where they indicate that consumer prices in Guam are roughly 38% higher than in the United States without rent. Consumer prices including rent in Guam are about 29% higher than in the United States. If you are considering living on Guam, Numbeo also provides links to their own analysis pertaining to other topics, such as you see here. You will need to visit the Numbeo site to access these links. I will leave a link to the Numbeo site in the description box below. I'm here in Guam with my friend Ken, who showed up here from southern Mindanao, General Santos City.
General Santos.
And the reason for this video is I've had a lot of requests about from guys living in the Philippines and other places about the cost of living on Guam. So I thought I'd put this little video together, this little interview together, on top of the video that you've already seen. So I just have a few questions for Ken. How do you like Guam?
I like it. In the few months that I've been here, I mean, the weather is a lot more easy to handle than the Philippines. It doesn't get as hot. There's always a cool breeze.
Like right now?
Yeah.
You find it expensive?
Not really. I mean, from start to landing, I probably spent about $4,000 to get set up here.
So $4,000 just from the plane to the apartment?
Plane, the apartment, the hotel in between.
Okay.
Picking up the things you need for the apartment.
Setting up, it's always an expense.
Yeah. Now I had 2 routes to go. I could have got unfurnished or furnished, and I ended up with the furnished one for $100 more a month. So the apartment running $850 a month, and
Studio
studio.
means you have no bedroom. You just have a living area with a kitchen area, correct?
A kitchenette, a CR, or a restroom, or whatever you want to call it,
Right.
and then the main room.
But you have a full kitchen, basically, right?
Yeah,
Full range.
not a lot of counter space, but
Yeah. Like kind of like in the Philippines, they,
Yeah.
the kitchens are about this big and there's no counter space.
that's true.
It's all sink. So you got a full range though.
Yeah.
4-burner stove and an oven, and you got a refrigerator.
Yep.
So you do a lot of
That's a
cooking.
plus. I do a lot of cooking at home. I go out once in a while.
Yeah. As you've seen when we came in, we're at the Hilton, by the way, but as we came in here, Ken got an idea what it cost to eat a buffet at one of the local restaurants on Tumon Bay here. The seafood buffet here is $38. It's all you can eat, but it's still $38. And I told Ken, I said, I can drink, in the Philippines, I can drink San Miguel all week for $38.
Oh, yeah.
So, getting back to another point in the video where I referenced to Numbeo, the website Numbeo, which is a cost of living website. According to Numbeo, the restaurants here are cheaper than they are in the mainland.
I would say it depends on what part of the mainland.
Yeah.
You know, I came from the San Francisco Bay Area, and you get down into Fisherman's Wharf. 38 is very reasonable compared to some of the prices in Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah.
It's been a few years, because I've been in the Philippines for 5 years. The reason I wanted to come to Guam was it's a great launching point to the east. Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, all the places I'd
We're
like
3.5
to
hours from Manila.
Mm-hmm.
Under that, I think, to Tokyo, just under 3.5 hours to Tokyo. You can get from here to Hong Kong, here to Seoul. I mean, just a one-hop flight.
Right.
So, yeah, Guam's a great place to be if you want to just homestead for a while and visit Asia and Southeast Asia, because it's easy to get just about everywhere, even Singapore.
Right.
Cost of living, I think, to expound a little bit more on your cost of living, what kind of a monthly budget do you think you need to basically survive here as a single guy?
I would say, are we talking internet and
Well, yeah, I mean,
electricity and-
everything that you've got, including your studio apartment, what does it cost you to feel like you're set up comfortably?
I think you could comfortably do it on $1,500 to $1,700
Okay.
a month.
Because I've been telling people you need closer to 3,000,
Uh-huh.
but I'm thinking that's probably with a wife
Mhm.
and maybe a child. You can need a little bit more than that. But as a single guy, under 2,000, you could live pretty.
I would say, very comfortably under 2,000.
All right. And there's, it's like any place. Once you settled here long enough, you kind of learn the ins and outs of shopping, where to go, where the deals are. We've got the local markets here. If you've got the transportation, you can hit the fish markets and the vegetable markets and the flea markets and save a considerable amount of money doing that kind of shopping.
Right.
And of course, you mentioned something about buying in bulk. We do have we have Guam's
Cost you
version of a
less.
Costco, which is a cost you less.
Right.
So you're buying all your stuff in bulk as much as you can, and that saves them money. So.
And they have a better variety than little corner stores here.
Yeah. So back to what it is you like about Guam. You didn't talk too much about that, but what it is about Guam you really like?
Well, it seems like everybody I run into is very friendly, more than willing to talk.
Definitely not in New York, is it?
No.
Or Hawaii?
You go to the beach, the water's clean,
Yeah.
clear. You
And
can see
warm.
through, yeah. And you go to the beach the other day and you got fish swimming around your feet. I
Yeah.
mean, it's nice.
It's Guam's a nice island, small, but it's very tropical.
And very secluded.
Yeah. Now here's the tough question: would you ever consider moving back to the Philippines?
My plan is to keep home base here and just commute back and forth.
Well, that's kind of where myself and my wife are at. We made our annual pilgrimage to Guam, usually for shopping when we were building the house in the Philippines. And after about the fourth trip, we decided this might be a better place to live and just travel back and forth. Now
it's affordable too.
It is, yeah.
$350 for a round trip ticket. That's not bad.
Yeah. Or
of course, you don't know what's going to happen with the fuel prices.
Yeah. Under our current administration, they've kind of skyrocketed.
Yes.
Getting back to Guam, a lot of retirees are considering alternative places to live.
Right.
And the one thing I've never really talked about here on the island is, and you know this as well as anybody, Medicare is available here, and you're getting ready to hit that.
Yeah, I will
number.
be picking up Medicare in a few months.
Yeah. And I think we talked before, since I've been on Guam, if I would have had all the procedures I've had done here,
right.
If I'd have had to do them out of pocket in the Philippines, I would have spent thousands and thousands of dollars in just hoping for reimbursement. But I've had colonoscopies and back surgery and MRIs and a CAT scan and just had a sleep study done a couple weeks ago. So I probably would have foregone all that stuff if I lived in the Philippines.
Right.
But here, because it's pretty available to me, might as well get it done.
Yeah. What else I've checked into is a GAP plan.
GAP, is that insurance?
It's additional insurance.
Oh, like a supplemental.
20%.
Supplemental insurance for Medicare?
Right. There is actually a section in there that if you're traveling, there's like 50,000 or something like that can be used in a lifetime for
Emergency type medical care?
medical expenses if you're out of the country.
Now the GAP plan, are they expensive?
You get to pick. It's coming down to G and H. G is the more expensive one, but that's only $130 a month.
Yeah.
If you go to H, you have to pay all the share of cost.
Cost share. Deductibles. Okay.
And I believe on A it's like 2,000.
Okay, but it's pretty much like that with most of your insurance plans. You've got a deductible to meet.
Well, it's like if you're on G, you've got a $200-something deductible, and then that's it. Everything else is covered.
But this is a Medicare supplemental plan you're talking about. Okay. Something I haven't looked into because being retired military, we're on TRICARE.
Right.
So Medicare picks up what Medicare doesn't pick up for me. TRICARE picks up the rest. So it's kind of like a $0 thing out of my pocket. So that's a benefit that a lot of guys who have veterans benefits, or if they're retired military, they've got that benefit here also. They can use Medicare and a combination of their TRICARE.
Right.
So that's a good way to go for a lot of those guys. All right, Ken. Well, hey, thanks for the little bit of information you shared, and I hope that helps some of you viewers out. You can always reach me through my email. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to holler. So thanks for watching.
And thanks. It's a good place to launch off.
Yeah.
If you want to do some traveling.
Guam out.
Guam out.
Now, Guam is known to have a ton of these little their little grocery stores. I call them sorry stores on steroids, but they all started out small and they all got big. The one thing that is really noticeable on Guam is the availability of Filipino and other Asian foods at reasonable prices. In addition to having several Filipino grocery stores on island, there are Filipino food dishes served up in many locally owned restaurants. Most all of the restaurants in Guam are comparably priced to stateside restaurants, except for the larger hotel restaurants, which tend to be rather pricey and generally cater to tourists anyway. Several of the large hotels do offer senior citizen discounts, however. And, as mentioned before, Guam is very pro-senior citizen and pro-military, so if you are in either of those groups, don't hesitate to ask for the discount. Guam is a wonderful place to live if you want to just chill and relax, but living here does come with a higher price tag than living on the mainland or in a developing country like the Philippines. Guam is considered to be fully developed and is a small knit community where, like in the Philippines, families stick together. Locals here are more likely to use someone they know for any service they need. Calling in favors and showing preferential treatment to family is not considered nepotism, even in the secular world. In fact, there's a name for it. It's called the pare system. And while housing costs are considered to be the biggest expense of living here, the best way of understanding what those costs are is to search the market for yourself. I will leave a link in the description box below to Guam's Apartment Finder, where you can search through hundreds of listings, from apartments and condos to single-family homes. And then you will know. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more videos. I've always wanted to do that.